Hey everyone, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I would appreciate a like and a subscribe if you're watching this on YouTube. And if you want to support me further, you can always go to my Patreon page, which is patreon.com/MichelO'Lully. All right, now down to business. All right, so this first video is going to be a part one on traditional mix media, and part two, I thought, just to keep it simple, will be the digital version, which would be digital mixed media. And so I do not have any color pencils, but color pencils are a easy media to experiment with mixed media. And so or even like water-based caulk, like charcoal pencils. You can, it's a fairly easy mixed media to use as well. Today it's going to be with markers. Actually, I said markers and I put these markers out, but these are my watercolor brush pens. So not that. I'll set that there. Let me actually get my markers. There we go. My markers. I don't know, I just, I flipped these upside down and I thought, oh yeah, those are my markers. So anyway, so I'm going to use my acid-based markers. Are these acid-based? Okay, I'm wasting time. And then watercolor. And I'm basically going to try to make this video as concise as possible. I'm going to sketch, very likely, two different, I shouldn't say two different, it's going to be apples. I figure just a simple illustration piece, and I chose just an apple. So that's one. And even if you can't see the construction lines, that's fine, because actually for both media materials I will be using, it's preferable that the construction lines are very minimal. So, and basically what the reason why I'm doing this is just to illustrate that you can get really creative if you want to specialize into one media, like markers. I did a couple videos on markers. I've been doing a lot of videos on watercolor, and a lot of those watercolor videos you will see that I use different mediums as well, and sometimes they're not even mediums. I just use different materials. Like I've used this corrective pen to do like highlights and accent points, and I've used markers on my watercolor as well. I've used ink on my watercolor as well. So but this video I just wanted to demonstrate how you can blend two different mediums to achieve two different goals. So all right, so we're going to start with the markers. So like I said, so it's 4 minutes. I'm going to try to keep this brief. So with markers, the more variation of color shade, color spectrums that you have, the better. So I'm going to start with the lightest color that I have for the apple. And again, this is just a sketch. I'm going to try to keep it tight, but I'm not so much concerned with the finished product as much as I am with what I want to demonstrate. So I'm starting off again, like I said in my previous videos, the base color. And if I'm in such a rush, but I'm going to show why using mixed media, mixed materials to still achieve your goal. because I wanted to leave like a highlight, but since I didn't leave a highlight, I can use a different material to achieve that same goal. So here we go. Just adding some shade here. And even with the different materials, you know, just try different different strokes. You know, try if you're going to do just a broad, even stroke. See how that works. If you want to do like a cross hatching stroke, try that and see if that will still achieve the same overall look that you want. Here's the stem. Like I said, very rudimentary. So all of this so far has just been using the markers. Okay, so I'm gonna come back here. Like I said before, you can, even with a previous application of the same color marker, you come back over it again and you can achieve a darker hue. So I'm going to do that. Come with the original color that I used in the beginning. Just try to blend the two. All right. Now if you hear, oh, I did not start. Okay, now I'm starting because I'm cooking a pot of peas and rice. So if you hear an alarm and if I step away, that would be for that reason. So here I'm just doing the contours of the apple, a little outline. Okay. It's darker than I want, so I'll use that for this. And okay, so I'm going to keep it simple. All right, so there you go. Very basic apple. And if you want to go over it again and just try different, you know, like I said, like cross hatching, if you want to get like a certain texture, you want to get that sort of like cylindrical look, you can as well. You can just mess around with that with your stroke pattern, right? But this is not about that at the moment. So you can mess around with that. You know, you want it to be kind of gritty looking. That's totally fine. And it's just for the sake of some shadow. We can do that. But that's, you know, that's not a key. So now, okay, so the markers are done. And like I said, if you want to go in, add details, maybe come with an ink, you know what, let's do that. So we're doing mixed media. So you want to add, you know, some highlights with your ink, some texture points you want to add, right? You can add with your ink, and whether it's an ink brush or just a ballpoint pen, you know, you want to do that, then you can add some stuff like that. I don't want to focus on that too much because it's already 9 minutes. But now, so you started off with your markers, you've added some ink, and now if you want to add like highlights, here you go. You can either use this, or you can use an ink container, white ink, Peter's ink. So either one, you know, I'm going to use this, and then here you go. You can just, once you get it flowing, now you can add your highlights that you wanted to add. You know, where you think the light is shining and glistening off your piece, and then you can do that. And so now you start off with just your markers, and now you are using different mediums and different materials to further enhance what you started off with. And that's a part of just using mixed media. Okay, so that's using the markers, ink, and the corrective pen. So now with this, we're gonna go on this side, we're just gonna use watercolor. So if you're like, you know what, I want to dabble in watercolor, so you can come right here, and depending on how loose you want that piece to be will determine your flow. And I want it somewhat loose, and so I'm going to do that. I haven't used any masking tape because, again, I just want this to be a very free flowing piece. So I'm going to add the stem, because if I was using masking, I would have masked this so that way it wouldn't impact the flow and the opacity for the stem with the watercolor. And now let me get to the leaf right here. Okay, so bam. So I have that down, and now add the body of and it's the same thought process. If you're thinking that I want my base to be, let me just use this trick right here again to stop this from sliding, and kabam, bam, no more slides. There we go. So now I'm using, I guess not. Okay, there we go. And so now you want to use that for a base, then you can. And depending on your light source, you can mess around with that also. And so here I have the sort of like the blocking of where I want color and light and shadow and all that to be. So bam, so I'm here. So this is my watercolor. I'm kind of set with where this is right now. And now if you're like, you know what, I want to add some markers to it, then here you go. You get your marker. You can add to the opacity of what you want to do. I mean, to the piece. So I come here, and I'm keeping in mind that the light is coming in this direction. So I'm adding my markers on top of the watercolor, and I can add some shadow to what I want to achieve. Okay, and I can go on and just add some contours with the markers again. And if you're thinking, you know, I want it to be mostly watercolor, I don't want to apply too much markers to it, I don't want to lose the essence of the watercolor, then that's totally fine also. And I think this way it helps if you have different different types of your medium. So I'm going to use my watercolor brush pens and to add some highlights, but it's still watercolor, but it may come across as a marker. So you want to may want to keep that in mind too. If you see that, you know what, it is a watercolor brush pen, but it's coming across as more of a marker, then you make that adjustment. You know, now I'm going to come back with my watercolor because I prefer to have that base look, and then you come back over it with your watercolor. And again, this is not so much like color theory. I'm just trying to quickly demonstrate just using different mediums and then what you can achieve with those different mediums. So I'll come back with my watercolor brush pen. If I want to add just a little bit more just detail to certain elements, I can do that. And now you have your piece. And again, like this, I'll use this time. If you want to add highlights, whether you use a corrective pen or an actual jar of white ink, then you can do that. You can get creative if you know it. I want to add some spots to it. I want to get that sort of speckle look. Same thing here with the markers. If you wanted to get like the speckle look, you know, I'll show that with the corrective pen. Then you can do that. And if you know that certain things are going to be highlighted, put a blotch down there, maybe a blotch right there, and then you come back with your another brush, and you can then spread that out to your liking, however you want to show the highlights. See? So we're just mismatching, applying different. So right here, coming back with your corrective pen, you can do this and achieve the same sort of like speckle look depending on the apple that you are drawing. And if you are drawing from a reference, then draw what you see. But if you want to add a certain flair to your pieces, you could do that with just using mixed media. Watercolor base, and then an application of markers and watercolor brush pens. And you notice in this piece, didn't use any ink, didn't highlight the edges. And then in this piece, which is the base was markers, did some highlights with the black inks and the corrective pen. So 17 minutes. I actually wanted this to just be 7 minutes. I'm trying to be as concise as I possibly can with these videos. But thanks so much for watching. And like I said, this is part 1 of traditional mixed media coloring. And then I will do a part 2, and that one will be digital mixed media coloring, that you can achieve the same thing if you're working digitally as well. So thanks again for watching. Hope you have a blessed day, night, evening, and until next time, grace and peace.